get your
talk about
tuchus
it,
out of the
no?
base medrash and go vote. But they don't make them do anything. They don't say
Jesse,
get
you
out
don't
of the
have
base
to be so
medrash, go
Jesse.
vote and come back.
Jesse,
What?
you don't have to be so hostile, man.
Oh, please.
Take a
This isn't the
Xanax.
first
Calm
time the
down a
Jews
little
have screwed
bit.
us over when it comes to voting.
Why? They were pretty
It's
good the last
disappointing.
election.
Man.
The last election, I think we had a pretty good turnout, no?
Oh, they were
Yeah,
horrendous.
we got 3,500 new votes.
Horrendous.
3,500 votes from Farako.
Yeah, but out of how many?
Just for Rockaway.
35.
Only 5,000 registered voters here, Jesse.
Right. So do you know how many
Just
people aren't
remember-
registered?
$1,500 people didn't vote. That's not really. It's not acceptable. But
No. That's out of the people that are registered. There's thousands that aren't registered. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, my 18-year-old son is not registered, so I don't know. I got to get him
So
registered.
register him. Well, now it's too late for this election.
Yeah.
I think they said they had to be registered by early February.
I have some sisters in Lakewood who are registered here.
There you go. Shuttle them in, Tiago.
So I just go. I mean, they don't ask for ID, right? They're not allowed to, right?
No, but they ask you your name because they have to make sure that you're in this. You're
They compare the signatures. They compare the
registered
signatures on the
in
spot.
this area. They didn't compare any signatures.
Yeah, they did. It was all digital. When you signed the digital thing, they had they had your signature on their screen.
Yay, happy something.
Yeah, I'm here.
They don't ask you guys for an ID when you vote?
Not allowed. I thought it's a federal thing. In
No,
Florida,
but they did it. Florida, they asked. We had driver's license and voter registration card.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not in New York.
I tell you, Florida's
It's a Democratic thing. They want illegal people to vote, so they vote Democrats.
I tell you, the rest of the world
Jews
should take a
also
lesson
vote
from
a
what's
lot of
going on in
Democrats,
Florida.
just so you know.
So what?
The rest of the world should take a lesson for what's going on in Florida.
Why?
I got off a plane literally at 8:00.
Yeah.
I was there for 2 days. It's fully open. There's no COVID. That economy is back up and normal, somewhat. It's a beautiful thing. The hotels are booming.
But people wear masks there.
Yeah, for the most part, people are missed. So
Yeah, listen. When I was in Florida, when was it? When I went to Young
Hanukkah.
Israel,
No,
they didn't let
Hanukkah.
me
You
in.
went to winter vacation.
They didn't let me in
right.
to Young Israel. I felt like I'm Amish a gullus. I felt like it was like, where? I felt like Hillel. You know what I mean? I should go up to the roof.
Well, you had to register?
Yeah, you
and
have
I tried to
before.
register,
Oh,
and they didn't. The registration link wasn't working.
interesting.
Why didn't you take the whole bunch?
Gershon gave me. I asked Gershon who was there, and I didn't want to touch anything. So this is okay.
Okay, ready to roll?
Thank you so much. I'll be back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. First, we start with Agadata, then we go out of Agadata. So about 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 lines up from the bottom.
Where you on? Pays high on my base?
Pay Zion of a base, yeah. Where's Aaron Horowitz? Did he go to the
Probably
bris
went
in
to
Lakewood?
Lakewood already.
He went to the bris.
I know the Bulls went already.
Wow. They don't have internet in Lakewood. Yeah. Okay. So Tani Rabchia Maitich Siv Elikim Haven Darka V'hu Yadas Mekayma. Hashem understood her way, right? And he knew her place. Yeah. So what does this mean? Yodea Kadosh Baruch Hu. Very interesting Gemara. Yodea Kadosh Baruch Hu as Yisrael she'einen yichaylen lekabel gzeros achzarius Edom. Hashem knew that Klal Yisrael would not be able to be makabel the gzeros achzarius that Edom would do. Lefika chigla isam leBavel. So therefore he made us go to Bavel, not to Edom. Which I don't understand because the Holocaust is the Holocaust. What is that? Germany was what? Edom, Bavel, right? What? Edom. So you see that, I mean, that was a rough, right? So what's the pshat in this Gemara? I mean, the pshat in this Gemara is that it didn't go to that's why he didn't send us to Edom, because you see what happens when it goes to Edom. If you say Germany is Edom.
It says Edom is Rome here.
Right, so I don't know what happened after Rome. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, V'amar Rabbi Elazar, Lahigla HaKadosh Baruch Hu as Yisrael leBavel elam apnei she'amuka k'Sha'ol. Since it's deep, since Bavel is down, it's like Sha'ol. Shenemar miyad Sha'ol efadei mimaves agalim. I'm going to redeem them from Sha'ol, which is like a play on words, because Sha'ol can mean Gehenim. It could also mean and from the depths, from right, and from like the deep. The Bavel is the bottom. Reb Chanina Amar Rav Nesha Karev L'Shanim L'Lashon Torah. A very interesting thing, that their Lashon, he sent us to Bavel because they spoke Aramaic, right? And Aramaic is very similar to Hebrew, so therefore we're not going to have such a problem. Yeah, which is very interesting because a lot of the Aramaic stuck with us. Correct? I'm saying there's a lot of tefillas that are in Aramaic. The months are Aramaic, right? Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, that's Aramaic, right? So the Svarim say that we maintaining the Aramaic so that we remember where we came from, right? Meaning we remember Golos and et cetera, which, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't remind me of where I came from.
I know, because we're so far gone, all of us.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay.
No offense to you, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm saying it doesn't. We have to try and keep reminders. I mean, it is a little tough. You read through our magazines nowadays, and it's very hard to think that we're in Gullus. I mean, it's crazy. I had the schus of looking through one of them the other day. It's totally insane, but that's not for me to say. Okay. Yeah, because Hashem is going to send us back to the mother's house, right? So Urkastim, that's where we came from. That would be Bavel. Mashal Adam Shekaz al Ishtai. This is obviously an antiquated Gemara. Mashal Adam Shekaz al Ishtai. It's a mashal to a man who gets angry at his wife. Where does he send her when he gets angry? He sends her home to her mother, right? Anybody try that? Okay, don't. Okay, looks like David.
Then the locks will be changed.
Did you do it tonight, David? I don't know. It looks very quiet.
Then the locks will be changed pretty quickly.
Yeah. Huh?
I think I'll be going back to my mother's house.
Yeah. So that's obviously this Gemara. This is changed Gemara. Anyways, three things went back to where they came from. Elohein Yisrael, Kesef Mitzrayim, Uksav Luchas. Klal Yisrael, the money that was taken from Mitzrayim, and the writing on the Luchas. Yisrael, Hada Amaron. Yisrael, like we said, that they're going to go back to Bavel. Kesef Mitzrayim, the money from Mitzrayim. Was in the 6th year, and the Melech Sheshach went on to Yerushalayim, and he took all the money. Ksav Luchas, the writing of the Luchas. And I broke them in front of your eyes. Tana Luchas nishbru v'aisas parchas. Right, the Luchas broke, but the Isis, they were flying away. They didn't break. Fine. Ula Amar, he says the reason why Bavel was meant to, where Golos went to Bavel, Ketei sheyochlu tomorrow, right on Amud Aleph, so that they should eat dates. V'yasku b'Torah, and they'll be Isaac and Torah, right? So, and because dates, I guess, helps you, and Rashi says there are lots of dates in Bavel. So dates will let you learn better. Yeah. Ula, is Peretz on for this next Gemara? Because this is right up his alley. Ula, Ukla Pumpadisa. So Ula traveled to Pumpadisa. Krivule Tirina de Tamri. They brought him a basket of dates. Amalu Kamakihani Zuzah. How many zuz to buy this bucket? Amrele, Tlas Zuzah. You get 3 for a zuz. Amar. So he said, Malitzina de Dubsha Bezuzah. Says a basket of honey, and honey back then was date honey. Most of the time when the Gemara says honey, it's referring to date honey. He said a basket of honey is only 1 zuz. And the people from Bavel are not Isaac in the Torah. So meaning he's saying that if it's so cheap, it's so meaning a basket of honey is 1 zuz. 3 dates is a zuz. So that means the dates are very they're much cheaper, right? So they're so plentiful, and the Gemara says that dates helps you learn. That's why the Yidden were sent to Bavel. So why aren't the people from Bavel learning Torah? Which is interesting because we said yesterday that people of Bavel did learn Torah. Right? So that's what's going to happen. Ibralelia Tsaru, at that night he had a lot of tsar. He had a lot of stomach issues. Amar Malay, he said to himself, Malay Tzina, Samar de Musa Bazuza Bavel. A basketful of poison, some of poison, right? It sells for a zuz in Bavel, and still the people from Bavel are Isaac and Torah. Meaning in the beginning he thought it was a taina. They had so many dates that help you learn, yet they didn't learn enough. And then when he had stomach ache from it, so then he said he turned the tables and he said no, the dates they give such stomach issues, yet the people in Bavel are still learning, even though they have stomach issues and they're up a whole night. Fine. Okay. Right? People are going to go and say, let's go to the mountain of Hashem, to the Beis Yaakov, right? Ale Yaakov. So it says Ale Yaakov, Ale Avram v'Yitzchak. It just says it's just Yaakov's oil and not the oil of Avram and Yitzchak, meaning it's referring to the Beis Hamikdash. Ela loika Avram shekasa by har. It's not like Avram because he called the har a mountain. Shenemar asher yomer hayoim bahar Hashem yirah. They're going to be seen in the har Hashem. But like Yitzchak shekasa by sada. In Yitzchak, it says, Yitzchak went to daven in the field. Yaakov was the first person to call the Makam HaMikdash Abayis. Beis Kel. He called it Beis Kel. So that's why we call it Beis Yaakov. Right? Fine. The day that there's going to be Kibbutz Galius, meaning when Mashiach comes, it's going to be like the day the world was created. Shenemar v'nikvutzu b'nei Yehuda b'nei Yisrael yachtav v'samol lehem roish echad v'alu min haaretz ki gadol yom Yisrael. Yeah, and so it's going to be a big gathering. And it says right? So yom echad, it means what do you call it? It says the same echad. Echad here is referring to not one, but referring to a great day, a day that's going to be something special, right? So the day Mashiach comes is going to be the same as when Mashiach, as the Sheish Yisimei Bereshis.
What does that mean that they'll appoint for themselves a leader? Isn't Mashiach somebody that's not appointed by Klal Yisrael? It's going to be chosen by Hashem.
I have no idea. I think there's big chilukei days exactly who's going to appoint who by Mashiach, right? Right? I don't know. Mustamim, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be appointed by Hashem. It's going to be appointed by Klal. From here, you're right. It's Pashat Mashma that it's going to be appointed by Klal Yisrael, Mashiach, not right, not anybody, not coming from Hashem. Fine. Okay. Yosem sheshachtu alav apotropos. So Akiva, this is your kasha, right? So Yosem, that they should, right? So the Mishna says that if the apotropos, couple of apotroposim, right, had the Yosem in mind, so which one does he go with? So Shabbos Mino Yesh Breira, so must be that there's Yesh Breira, because we said that the Yosem can go with whichever one he wants. So Amud Zera, no Sela bias. It says it's a set for each household, Mikol Makom, which means in any situation, as long as whoever's the balabus has the what's he called in mind, then that's enough, right? Then that's enough. So now this is a very okay. So that's what we're saying. So he doesn't have to. It's the balabus chooses for whoever's in his house. So therefore, it's not. There's no breira going on.
So it can
Yeah.
be part of two chaburas.
Ah, very good. So I was bothered by this. Because how does it answer the question? He still has to decide. So I don't. What do you call it? The art scroll says something from the Sfas Emes. Somebody have it there? The art scroll. Hold on. Yeah, he has a lamda sheteretz, the Sfas Emes. That it's not. He's not choosing. He's just negating one of them. It's not pshat that he's a breira. It's a lamda sheteretz. He's getting rid of the extra one that went on to him, but there's one choice from whoever it is that was in charge. The bigger chiddush is this is a wild taisus right here. The second taisus down. I'm sorry, Yeshua Marchuk. This is an important time. We haven't said this in a while. This taisus is unbelievable, right? So
you waited for me to get on just to be able to make that comment. I appreciate it. Where are we now that we've interrupted? Where are we? We're
by the 2 dots on Peches Amud Aleph, but we're by the second Taisus now. So Selabayis, right, means whoever's in charge of the house. So Taisus says, Pirush Rishon de Selabayis lav doiraisa. It's not a doiraisa, right? Meaning it's a derabanan to have somebody appointed for the korban pesach is a derabanan dikadin. It's not a doiraisa dikadin, right? So then the question is, so Taisus is learning it that it's a derabbanon, and since it's a katan, so we don't have to worry about it. This whole din of you have to make sure you're part of a chabura is a derabbanon. And Taisus is saying that if that's the case, so it's a derabbanon, so therefore a katan doesn't need it. So Taisus in time of pesach shalayla. How can you give a katan a korban pesach if he's not part of the chabura? Neither katan oichol nevelis ain't bezim mitzvah lafrishay. Granted, Bezdin doesn't have to stop a katan from doing an avera, but lisvis leibe yadayim asur. But you're not allowed to give a katan iser. Meaning, if you have to be part of a chabura to eat the korban pesach, how are you giving it to a katan? Right? So that's Taisus kasha. Vaymari says, "Dasam yafinim eloi sachilam, eloi eser ela dumya deshratim nevelis." Only veloi aser ela. It's only aser to give a katan things that are similar to treif. But here, exactly what Taisus means here, but where there's a chinuch to do a mitzvah, it's mutter to give an issa d'rabbanan to a katan.
Say that again?
Yeah.
What?
Yes. Yeah. Taisus says. Yeah. Taisus seems to be saying that if the mitzvah being mechanech a kid, right? It's only a mitzvah of chinuch because he's a yasam, he's less than bar mitzvah, right? That there's a mitzvah. When there's a mitzvah involved that the katan should do a mitzvah, we're going to negate it. We're going to negate a mitzvah d'rabbanan.
Could you give an example?
Here. Now, what are the examples you want to learn from this?
It's a law. It's not. We're not negating a mitzvah. It's a law, isn't it?
Well, he's saying what Taisus is saying. It's a d'rabbanan. This din of menuyav is a d'rabbanan, not a d'oraisa. So therefore, in order to get a kid to do a mitzvah, you would be able to allow the kid to be over on Issa D'Rabbanan. That's what Taisus seems to be saying.
I don't know. Lanias Daiti seems to be saying two separate points. He first, where there's an actual issue. Here, there's no issue. There's a chiyuv to be counted as to be mono. There's no isser in eating the korban. They didn't make an isser.
What do you mean?
They made a takana that you have to eat it. That you have to be part of the chabura. They didn't say it's usher to eat unless you're part of the chabura. They said there's a chiyuv to be part of a chabura.
Right.
Mamela it comes out that you can't if you're not part of the chabura. But they never made an isser. It was never a positive isser.
What I'm saying, but still, you're giving it to a katan.
I think he's right.
But no, I'm saying
No,
you're giving it.
I don't think Taisus would agree that something that's an Isser D'Rabban, the marshal, I don't know, chicken cooked in milk.
It says lo asor ela dum yadrashim et nevelis. It says
Right.
shari. It doesn't say it's Isser here. It says lo asor ela dum yadrashim et nevelis. The Isser is for something that looks like shratzim et nevelis. Here it's a piece of meat. I think
Yeah, but
that's
saying, what exactly? The question is how far you take this, right?
I don't think the Re would agree that if there was somehow a mitzvah's chinuch to give this kid chicken cooked in milk, that would be mut. That's an issur. And it's a drabanan, but it's issur.
Right. No, but can a kid be over in a drabanan
That is a drabanan.
No, but I'm saying in order to do a mitzvah.
So I'm saying I don't think Tosfos would say that if some example of a mitzvah with chicken cooked in milk, Tosfos would not be masking that you could give a cut in that. Tosfos say you never could give a cut, even if there was a mitzvah chinuch involved in giving him chicken cooked in milk. You can't do that. That's issur. But where there's no actual issur involved, the food is not usur. Because I'll never made the korban pesach usur. I think there's even 3 points. Here they said that there's a thing on the gavra, let's say, that you have to be part of a chabura. The mele, it comes out that if you're not part of a chabura, you can't eat it. But they never said this meat is usur to you to eat unless you're part of a chabura. The way they said it was different. The way they said it was you have to be part of a chabura to eat the korban pesach. They never made an issur.
I don't know why you're saying that. Why are you saying it? Tosfos calls it an issur.
There's 2 parts. First, he said it's not an issur.
No, I'm saying
so he said the law is, sir.
Celibias is saying he's saying no, but the beginning of the Tosfos, celibias is lav d'oraisa.
Right.
So
I understand.
This mitzvah
what's the mitzvah celibias? The mitzvah is to be part of a chabura.
Correct.
Right? That's not an issur, that's a mitzvah.
Correct.
So there is it turns out that it's usur to eat it if you're not part of a chabura, because Chazal made a chiyuv that you have to be part of a chabura.
Right.
But it's not issur here. There's a chiyuv d'Rabbanan to be part of a chabura.
Good, but you're bypassing a d'Rabbanan here. You're bypassing a d'Rabbanan for this cotton to do the korban pesach.
Because he can't be part of a chabura.
Yeah.
Right? So that's Tosfos kasher. So Tosfos has V'oimeri, the teretz of Tosfos has 2 separate points. First, he says that it's only usur to give a cotton real issur. And then he says, but in our case, not only is there no real issur, there's a chinuch mitzvah.
I think he's right.
Correct, but you're still doing something wrong.
Yes, I'm saying doing something wrong is not the same as giving someone issur.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, but l'maisa geret, you see from Tosfos that in order to be mechanech a kid, we're going to bypass the d'Rabbanan.
Oh, I thought you meant any issur d'Rabbanan. Something that is usur, not a chayfetz of issur.
No, we're not going to give him issur in order to be. I don't know what the case would be then. But let's say he needed to be over on issur.
Yeah.
I don't know. In order for him to be yaitza, let's say if the shofar in a tree on Rosh Hashanah, would we let a kid climb the tree to get the shofar? Sounds like from this Tosfos good.
It's a different case again.
Okay,
we let them practice using a shofar on Rosh Hashanah. We don't say you can't do that.
That's true, doctor. That's true. Okay, whatever it is. The point is we got to get going. We're gonna fall asleep. But but whatever. This Tosfos is one of the Tosfos in Shas that they bring when they start being makel, with the kids. Let the kids do this. Let the kids do that. That's coming from this Tosfos partially. Okay, let's see weiter. Tanabon. Celibias, Malamet Shadam, maybe V'shaychet al Yedei B'noyu B'ite Hakatanim. It teaches us that that a person could bring the korban pesach al Yedei B'noyu B'ite Hakatanim. So if not for Rashi, saying what does al Yedei B'noyu mean? Through his son and daughter, right? But Rashi says it doesn't mean the bishvil. Rashi, I think Rashi's telling us that he says bishvil, that we don't. It's not the classic translation of al yedei here. It's b'shvil, an order. A person can bring the korban on behalf of his kids, ketanim al yedei avdei v'shevchasei kananim, and for his slaves that are goyim, You can do it whether they know about it or whether they don't know about it. He can't do it for his older kids, and not for his Jewish slaves, and for his wife, only for his das. Right? Only from their das, I'm sorry. Now I'm going to bring in Purim for the third night in a row. Matanas Leviyonim, you give on behalf of your wife? Do you give it on behalf of kids?
I do.
Kids that are older? I know. Do you have to be maknet to them? Do they need to tell you that they want?
I give for them.
That's right. So not everybody says that that's correct. I'm telling it to the wrong guy here, right? Not everybody says it's correct. That for your kids, you got to tell them. You want me to give matanas leviyonim, and then they have to give you the money.
You never told me this before.
Whatever. We're gonna get to more weiter also, but it's an interesting thing that some place can have an issue with. That you give him midaitan or not.
I have a mitzvah kids now. Right?
Tanya idach, we have another brisa. Lo yishchat adam lo yagdei b'noy ubita gedolim. You don't shecht not for his b'noy ubita gedolim. V'yidei avdei v'shchasei yibn v'yidei ishtoi elam midaitan. Aval shoicheru v'yidei b'noy ubita ketanim v'yidei avdei v'shchasei knanim bei midaitan v'yishalem midaitan. It's the same, seemingly same brisa, just in the opposite order. The kulan sheshachtu.
Isn't this size of the Mishnah?
Why?
Ishtai. That was
Yeah.
Shalei Midate. Bishalei Midata.
The daughter. I was the daughter. No.
No, the husband with his wife. She can either go to a father or a husband.
I thought that was where the father did it.
And the husband. Both. Shachat Le'avida and Shachat Le'abala.
Right.
That's Shalei Midata, and it worked.
Was it Shaloi Midata? How do you know that was Shaloi Midata? I mean, that would make. I hear what you're saying.
That's the first Rashi.
Yeah, I see you saying it's I hear. I don't know. You're saying it's verkehrt from the. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Yeah. I hear. Okay. But anyway, so v'kulan sheshachtin v'shachad rabban alein, and all these things, if they shechted it and their master shechted it for them, yotzim b'shal rabban, they're yotzim b'shal rabban, v'ein yotzim b'shal atzman, and they're not yotzim on their own. Well, maybe this Gemara, this matara to your question. Chutz min ha'isha sheyichaylu limchas, except for a woman who can make a macha. Right? She could say that I don't want to be part of the korban. Mishna isha. How come an isha can? Amarava isha v'chol damila. It doesn't mean no isha specifically. It means a woman, anybody that requires daiton. So her gufa kasha. Then we say this whole price is a kasha. Amar chutz min ha'isha sheyichaylu limchas, except for a woman because she's able to make a macha. Time of the machi. The only reason why she's not included is because she can make a macha. Haloi machi. If she didn't make a macha, nafka b'shal ba'ila, she's yaitze with her husband. Pakatani reisha, but the reisha says v'loya the ishtay ela midaitan, not through the ishtay, only midaitan. I just lost the place. Hastam and loy nafka, but if it's tam, then you're not yaitze. It means it's a stira. From the first one sounds like the default that she is yaitze, and then the next one says that she's not yaitze. So my ela midaitan. What does it mean? Ela midaitan lav damri ein ela b'stama lafuke hechad amar loy. Right? When it says midaita, it's not that she said in, right? Or I mean, we say it in, but it's really ain. But ela b'stama, it was stam lafuke hechad amar loy, meaning the default is she didn't say yes. She just didn't say anything. So Mela, she's going along with it, as opposed to if she says no. We said all of these cases, if the master shechted on behalf of them, then they yotze with the master. The bestama, that means it's stam, they are yotze with the master. But it says except for a woman because she can make a macha. So Rabba says no. If she shechted her own animal for Pesach, then clearly there's no bigger macha than that she doesn't want to be yotze with her husband's shchita. Fine. Then we said evet shel shnei shutfim. So if there's an evet that belongs to two partners, they cannot be part of the. The evet cannot be yotze. So Ramila Raveina Sabal Ram Nachman Tnan Evet Shal Shnei Shutvin Lo Yoichel Mishishnein. An Evet of 2 Shutvin can eat from both of them. Vatanya Rotzam Izah Oichel Rotzam Izah Oichel. We have a brisa that says they can eat from whichever one they want. Right, so it's a stira. One brisa says they can't be yaitza, one says they can. Amrlei Eina Saba. Eina the Saba, the grandfather or the older. Amrila Pasya Uchnya. Dirty clothing, right? Meaning which is reference to sometimes Talmidei Chachamim have dark clothing, right? That's a Gemara in Avodah Zarah, right? Because they don't have time to clean their clothing. So mini uminach, between the both of us, this time shmaitza, we're gonna understand this Gemara, and we're gonna say like this: Masnisa b'de kapti hadadi. The Mishna, where we say that the Eved with the 2 bosses is not Yaitza, that's where they're makbid on each other. Brisa, the like of the other, and the Brisa is where they were not makbid on each other. Fine. Oh, Rabban, welcome. 5 lines from the bottom of Peches Amud Aleph. Yeah, what are you saying, Kiva?
And Evet Kanani, are they counted as part of the whole Tumah Tahara business when it comes to Roiv or not Roiv?
What are you saying?
The Gemara's before we were discussing, if Roiv Klal Yisrael is Tameh or not Tameh, does that incorporate Evet Kanani as well? Meaning, are we including Evet Kanani as part of that count?
I don't know.
Are we including any of these people? Are we including wives? Are we?
Wives, the Gemara said, right? The Gemara went through with the wives. Do you add the wives or not, right? With the woman, there was a whole cheshbon.
Right. I'm saying, but they didn't discuss Evet Kanani.
Right, you're right. They did not discuss Evet Kanani. Right, I hear that. I don't know. How can you count Evet Kanani?
Is an Evet Kanani mechuyev to eat korban pesach?
He's mechayev, yeah. Anything that an isha is mechayev.
Doesn't Evet Kanani have standard laws of a woman?
Yes, right, exactly, right.
You can learn from a woman.
Whatever
the reason I asked.
Whatever woman's
is the reason the woman's mechuyev.
Aaron's right. What are you saying?
The reason a woman's mechuyev was because they're mechuyev. Amen. The Gemara only said that because a woman's mechuyev in the lavim, she's mechuyev in the asik, right? The Gemara doesn't say that way in Evet.
Right. I don't know, but how can you? I mean, an Eved's mechuyev only because he's part of a Yiddish household. You can't call him a Yid, right?
Right.
He has certain. He's not a Yid, but he's halfway there.
He's halfway there, yeah, but he's in the stomach. Once he's right, I don't know. I hear it's a good question. I hear. Okay, good. I don't know. If anybody comes across anything, let us know, please. Okay, weiter. Somebody who's a half, he's one. There's 2 scenarios, right? Either he could have bought himself out, half of himself, from his owner, or he had 2 owners and 1 owner freed him. Whatever it is, he's half baked, this guy, right? So the Mishnah had said that he can't eat from his masters. So Gemara says, "Mishal Rabbi Huda lo yochel, aval mishal atzma yochel." Right, but from himself he can't eat, right? But he can eat from his own. But Tanya, we have in a brayso, lo yochel lo mishal Rabbi. He can't eat from either one, not his own and not from his master. So we say, like kasha, kama Mishna Rishona, kama Mishna Achrayna. One is talking about in the first Mishnah, one is talking about in the second Mishnah, which is not really a second Mishnah. But we'll see in the Gemara, because the Gemara is chayzer. The tnai misha chetzi ever chetzi ben chayzer. Somebody who's half a slave and half free. Over this rabba yoyim echad v'satzma yoyim echad. So he gets one day he works for himself, next day he works for his master, and so on and so forth. There is Hillel. Shami Yarim, now we're on Talmud Beis. Tikantem is rabba v'satzma loy tikantem. You fix the master, right? Because he gets him half the time, but he himself you didn't fix him. Right, meaning what's the story with him? Lisa Shivcha Eina Yachal Shekvar Chetzi Ben Chayim. He's not allowed to marry a slave. What do you call a female slave? I don't remember.
What, the maid servant thing?
A Shivcha, maid servant.
A wife.
Oh, okay, a wife, yeah. Yeah, so Lisa Shivcha in a Yachal Shekvar Chetzi Ben Chorn, he's already half free. Lisa Bas Chayra in a Yachal Shadayin Chetzi Evid, he's half Evid. Yevatel, to be Mavatel, meaning he should not go marry at all, but the world is created to be fruitful and multiply. So so what do we do in order to fix the world? So what do we do is kaifin as rabbi, we force his master, we force his master to make him free, because of shtar al chatzi dama, and we write a shtar for half of his value. And Beisila was chayzer to Beishamai. So since this is talking about after Beis Hillel was chayzer to Beishamai, right? Was going with Beis Hillel. Yeah.
Which is going like Beishamai.
Which is after meaning Beis Hillel after he was chayzer. So then he could make his own, because we're going to write.
What does that mean though? If he's still partially at the time, I see Rashi tries to explain it, but what does that mean that if he's still not a full fully meshuchar, how do you look at him as if he's a ben chayrin if he's not?
What do you mean right now? Because I guess it's like a tnai type situation, no?
You can't have tnai that what?
I think that's why you make a shtar al chatzi damav.
Right, but he's not meshuchar yet. It's still, the Mishna says he's still chatzi avdei. We're not talking about where he already bought himself back.
No, but we're going to do it right then and there whenever it's necessary. Meaning, it sounds like they can do this against the wishes of the Baal, right? Kaifin, you force him, right?
Rashi doesn't say that. It could be that's pshat, but Rashi doesn't say that here. He says biyadenu l'shachar ben chayrin.
Right. Yes. I don't know. Yeah, that's the way I learned it. That's the way I learned it. You could force him, but you got to give him a shot.
This is tikkun olam and cancel culture. No.
What's the other one? Tikkun olam I got. What's the other one?
Cancel culture. You got to cancel whatever contract he has to cancel.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's one of those Trump words. I never heard of that before, Trump.
Now the Taisvis, our second Taisvis of the night over here, that's very interesting Taisvis. I'm not going to say it's as major as the previous Taisvis, but Taisvis on the top says, how can you free him? It's an Isser. Right? Do we say to a person, can you force somebody to be over on an Isser in order to help out a friend? Right? Classic Kiruv Shaila, right? Can you be over on an Isser to help out a friend? Or all these things. Can you? Right? The third line of Taisus. So what are you doing? You're telling this guy who's a half owner of the slave, free this guy for tikkun olam. Right? So we're saying be over on an isser so you can help your friend. Since when do we allow you to be over on an isser to help your friend? You're not allowed to. Correct? You can't go be over on it, be Mechal Shabbos in order to help your friend. You could try and stop him, but you can't do a Chil Shabbos on your own.
So you can, excuse me, you can lie for Shalom Bayis. Can you lie for friendship? Be Makar of your friend. Can you lie to him?
We do say that you could lie for Kiruv.
Yeah.
I don't mean Kiruv. I don't mean Kiruv like that. I meant Kiruv to make sure peace, just the same way for Shalom Bayis.
So you can lie for Shalom Bayis?
What? You do lie for Shalom Bayis. You're trying to make a white lie, whatever it is.
It doesn't work.
Okay, I mean, from the peanut gallery. Yeah.
Which Tosfos are we doing? Which Tosfos?
Top Tosfos Peiches Amabes. So then Tosfos says a Gavaldige Teretz. Yesh lemer mitzvah rabba shani. A great mitzvah is different. The Lord saw Baral Shavis Yitzharak the Mashani Gavri Velazar Shishikri Avdei mitzvah the Rabbim Shani. Meaning, if it's a great mitzvah, right? So when Rabbi Eliezer freed the slave to make the minyan, right? So the Gemara asks, how are you allowed to do it? Right? So now what Tosfos is saying.
Why, this is the whole sugya of mitzvah above avera, no?
It's not really a mitzvah because here it's different, because here you're doing an avera to help out your friend. You're not getting any. He's not getting it. The owner here is freeing his slave. He's getting nothing out of it, right? He's just getting money for his slave, right? But that you're right. The Gemara in Brachos does say the next line, mitzvah haba ba'avera, is mitzvah d'ram shani. Yeah. We said whatever it is. So the Gemara in Brachos says for a mitzvah d'ram, you would be able to maybe be over on an issa. Right? That's yeah. So that comes out that sometimes you have to be over on an issa in order for the klal. For the klal, you may have to be over on an issa.
Is there no way you could buy the other half?
Mamish, take one for the team.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. You take one for the team, 100%.
Why can't he buy the other half? Is it possible, B'Metzias, to buy the other half?
Can you buy him back? Isn't that a problem? Shouldn't a person not make himself into an eved?
But he's already an eved.
What?
Half of it.
He's already an eved. It's not like he made himself into an eved. He's already an eved.
I don't know. It's a good. Half of the Minchas Chinuch is about this subject, so right? Yeah. Or go to any of Rabbi Yeager's shiurim.
I'm saying that was
half of his shiurim involve this subject. We have to get him as a guest speaker.
Problem.
What?
That would solve all the problems here.
Yes,
because
he'd
be able to be l'shavas yatra,
right.
And he wouldn't force the other person to be over the issur of freeing a slave.
Right, I hear that. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't give that option. Okay, let's see weiter. It's a lam d'shadaf.
It's interesting. The Tosfos uses the Leila Sayu breira rather than Pru.
That's because the evidence is not mechoyev in Pru.
No, but we're freeing him to be mechoyev in Pru.
But the half that's an evidence is not mechoyev in Pru.
He's saying right then and there maybe he's not mechoyev, but he's freeing him to. Okay, the Shah is
freeing him.
But
Gemara says Pru.
Right, do you look at the free or post? Right.
The Gemara doesn't say Pru. The Gemara brings the pasuk of Leisayu Bara.
The truth is right. The Akiva is right. It's basing it on the Gemara. The question is why the Gemara.
The Gemara
is using.
Pru.
Yes, it
says
does.
Both.
The Gemara uses
how do I know?
Right, but the din of a non-Jew, not the din of a Pru that we speak of when it comes to Jews. There's two different dinim. The Gemara is quoting the din of a non-Jew.
He's saying that the world
say that we should free him to get the din of a non-Jew
because we're stuck in limbo.
The concept of the world is of Pru Revu. That's what Akiva is saying. That's the Pru Revu that we're.
Yivatel means he should be bottled from what? He shouldn't get married.
Right.
He can't get married because he's stuck in limbo. So you're forced to free him, but really the only chiyuv that's being enforced, it's the fact that he's an eved, is because of the din that he has to at least populate the world, not because of the Pru of a yid. He's not a yid yet. You can't leave him in limbo. That's what's forcing him to free him, not to make him a Jew, but at least let him get married. However, he could get married.
Well, the way you're saying it, he should be able to get married now because it's a mitzvah. We're saying the whole point of this is
half
to free
Jewish.
him.
He's half
Okay, we got to go a little fight because it's getting a little late. We can fight this after we can figure this out. The horrors are good. The horrors are very good. Okay, don't worry. This next Amud goes pretty fast for the olam that's getting tired. Okay, so Zok the Mishna, yeah. He tells his slave, go shech for me the korban pesach. Shachar gedi yoichel. If he shech to gedi, he could eat it, right? Because gedi is fine, right? That's shachar tle yoichel. If he says tle, the lamb, then you could eat it. Shachar gedi vitle. Let's say he did both. Yoichel min arishon, and then he eats from whichever one was shechted first. That's the first case in the Mishnah. Shochach ma omer loy rabba. If he forgot what his master asked him for, so Kate said, "Yasa, what should he do? Yishchat tle ugedi. He should check both. V'yomer im gedi omer li rabbi. If my master told me to do a gedi shaloi, so then the goat's his, but tle shali, and the lamb is mine. Then tle omer li, and if he told me tle omer li rabbi, if my rabbi told me tle, my master told me tle ha tle shaloi ugedi shali, and the gedi is mine." Gemara is going to ask on this kash on this. Shara Rabbi ma Amrloi. Let's say the master forgot what he told the eved to shecht. So Shnei and Yotzu leBeis Hasreifa, they both go out to the Beis Hasreifa. Upeturin milasis Pesach Sheni, and they're potter from Pesach Sheni. Why? Because Mammon of Shach the shchita and the zrika, Rashi says the shchita and zrika worked, right? And one went on one went on the other, right? And then Shemayim, Rashi says the kame Shemayim Galia, that which one was what he meant it to be, right? So therefore, he's the klape Shemayim, he's yaitza. We just don't know, so he can't eat either one of them. Yeah.
How is the Kayan allowed to do Zrika?
Well, Kayan
One of
doesn't know.
them's Chulin Bazar.
Okay, so the Gemara, let's wait to the Gemara for that. Very good. Let's wait for the Gemara for that. Very good. Gemara doesn't
Okay,
ask it
Yosef,
exactly like that, but he brings another scenario. What?
They're Yosef, they're mitzvah korban pesach, or they're not?
Yes.
They
Because
are,
Klapei
even though they didn't eat
Shemayim,
it.
even though they didn't eat it. Right. Oh, so you're saying it goes according to who was it that holds that it's not market. You're right. Very good horror. Right. We said that last week or 2 weeks ago. Who was it?
I was just asking you a question. I don't remember that we did that.
Okay, but I actually
Full
remember. At
honesty.
least I remembered something. Thank you for being machazing me that I remembered something. I don't remember who it was, but that that he said that it's ma'akev and achil. You have to say that. Very good, very good. So pshit. So Gemara says pshita. It's pashit, right? This din in the Mishna, right? If he didn't say which type of animal he wanted, so shachar gedi yochel. I would say it's just pshita. It's pashit. So the Gemara answers. Shachar gedi yochel afagav derogel betle. No, he's shecht a gedi. He can eat it even though he's a lamb guy. He likes lamb chops, but if he did a goat, then it's going to be fine. Shachar matle yochel afagav derogel begdi. Even though every year he does a goat, but if he did a lamb, so then it's fine. Meaning, even though again it's against what he normally does, but we're going to say that he's fine. Shachar gedi. What do you mean?
The Mishnah says if you can't just switch one to the other.
Which one to the other? Yes, either first or second, whatever you feel like.
I mean that you switched a minute.
What's the chiddush? It's not a minute.
No, you would think that that's what was in his das, and he went against his das. His das was one. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Right, the shachar gedi utle. If he shechted a gedi and a tle, yochel min arisha. He eats from the first one. We said you can't be on two different pesachim. So how can he? If he had him in mind one and not the other, so we answered masnisim b'melech umalka. The Mishna is talking about a king and a queen, right? And a king and a queen are the ones that ordered it. Like Tosfos says, they have so much good food, the king and the queen. They don't care if it was a gedi or a tle, or if it's fat or if it's lean. Meaning they're just what do you call it?
Does he want to come out with which one's better?
No, I don't know. Right? So they don't. So Mamela, they don't care. But Tanya, now we have a brayso to prove this. Ain't nimnan al shnei pesachim ke'echad. You're not allowed to be on two pesachim. U'ma'aseh b'melech u'malka shamu lavdeim tzu v'shavtu v'leinu was a pesach v'yotzu v'shavtu v'leinu shnei pesachim. Bo v'shalu was a melech, and they went and asked the king. There you go. You see, this is already now more contemporary. Why are you asking me? Go ask the queen, right? Which Rashi says because she was a bekiya v'chachama haisa. I don't know which queen this is referring to, but okay. Bo v'shalu as min amalka. Amalem l'chu v'shalu as Rabbi Gamliel. Go ask Rabbi Gamliel the shayla. Bo v'shalu as Rabbi Gamliel. What?
I was going to say maybe it's the same queen from Masechah Sukkah.
Oh, the one Hilni.
Yeah.
Maybe. Okay. So Amar Lehem Malka Umelech the Daitan Kala Alein, which is also an interesting lashon. A king and a queen who they're lightheaded. I mean, Kalas Roish is not usually a compliment, right? This is they're lightheaded. I mean, it's light on them. That's what it literally means. Yoichlum and Arishan, they eat from the first one. But us common folk, we're not going to be able to eat not from one or not from the other because we can't be on two different korbanos. Another story. Nimtza halta bebeis Hamikdash. There was a lizard that was found in the kitchen, in the food. Right, the camp story. It's not just in camp that they found the cat and the chon. Right, ubikshu l'tamei kol hasuda kula, and they wanted to be matama, not treif, matama. Which
means what? Only Tommy can eat it?
Tommy, right. So Amar Lehem, l'chu v'shalo es Amalka, Bo v'shalo es Amalka, Amar Lehem, l'chu v'shalo es Rabbi Gamliel. Bo v'shalo Isai, Amar Lehem, Beis Hamikdash, Reseach Etzainin. was it found in a hot food or cold food? Amr Loi Raseh was found in hot food. Amr Lahem Lechu v'tilu aleh kais shel tzayin, and go pour cold water on top of the lizard. Halcha v'tilu aleh kais shel tzayin, and they went and they poured cold water on it. V'richsha, and it moved. V'tir Rabbi Gamliel kala sodakula. He made it all tar because if it moved, it means it was still alive. Nimsa melech tali b'malka. So you see that the king was tali in the queen. Nimsa malka tali b'Rabbi Gamliel, and the queen was tali Rabbi Gamliel. Nimsa kala suda tali b'Rabbi Gamliel. Comes out that the whole Suda was telling you Rabbi Gamliel. I'm not exactly sure what the Gemara wants with that last line. Is it trying to show that you have all these smart people and I don't know, they would all tell you Rabbi Gamliel? I don't know. Now, how about Tarfus? How come the Gemara Utaka wasn't worried about treif? Right? So why are they worried about treif? There's a treif lizard in the food, and hot food, there's a treif lizard. What kind of bittul?
Ultimately, it was a lie.
Oh, so that's what he says, a raya. I don't think
this is Ramosha's Avim and Akai, Shiloh.
But at the Paiskim, I don't know if the Paiskim bring this mice as a raya that something alive doesn't give off tam. How come when you stick your finger into boiling hot food, you don't make a treif? Your fingers treif, right? Your fingers treif. How come
why
you don't?
Why is your finger treif?
Well, it does. It's. I mean, it could be a bunch of things. There's no shchita. It's Ever Menachai.
Who says you need shchita for
on humans? But it's Ever Menachai.
Who
says that's the big shot.
Who says?
Getting punished enough. Your finger's burnt. You're hurt.
I don't know.
I heard a whole shir on this. Who says a human fleshik?
It's true. It's not pashut. It's true.
Not
it's not right. Mother's milk is not fleshiks. It's not pashut that cannibalism is even awesome in the Torah. That's true. That is true. But lahaniach that it is. How come you stick your finger into your food and a hot food and it doesn't make it treif?
Because it's like sticking a salami that still has the plastic on it.
Oh, okay. 1 second. So how come your teeth are not treif?
Why aren't your teeth? Didn't we say something? Anything attached?
How come your teeth are not treif? The answer to it's getting late, but the pesach is because the teeth are alive. Anything connected to something alive is not treif. That's why if you have braces before Pesach and Yonah D'Yoma almost, right? Pesach, braces and false teeth, they're not connected to something alive, then they have a problem with it. Okay, but this Gemara, l'chara raya, that something alive is not going to make a treif, unless you say like Avi, that it was batal. Okay, fine. Here's go back. So if they forgot what the master wanted to say, right? So Shali, so he said, so how can he say Shali? That's a kasha. Shali, how can he say that it's mine? Masha kana eved kana rabbi. What the eved is kind of the rabbi is kind of some rabbi. Haylach etzel raya haragil rabbi etzel. He goes to a shepherd who his master trusts. I mean, they trust each other, and it's nichale to do something for the takana for his master. Umakni lechad minayu, and he's makne one of the animals to the slave. He gives it to him on almanas that his master won't be kind of right, because whatever the eved is kind of goes automatically to the master. So he's gonna, but this guy who trusts the master is gonna pay for his eved's things. He gives it to the eved and says, "You're not," and it's on condition that it doesn't go to the eved. This is also negeh to matanas levyanim, because let's say you are giving matanas levyanim. This is what the real fruma have with matanas levyanim. So let's say you're giving matanas levyanim on behalf of your wife, right? She doesn't have any money. How's she giving matanas levyanim? Mashakana ishakana baila. Right? So the real fruma, what they'll do is they'll find somebody else and they'll give it to the wife, or they'll give the money to the wife, almanas, that the Baal doesn't get the money, and then they take back the money and they give matanas levyanim. Is everybody following that frumkeit? No? Okay, it's a little too late. Okay, I'm sorry. But whatever it is, how can you give matanas levyanim?
I'll wait for the Twitter update of what how to give it.
This one ain't going on Twitter. This one ain't going on Twitter, right? But okay, whatever. Shine, we'll leave it. I really wanted to go down to the Mishna, but okay, it got late. Okay, the Olam has a few. I mean, it's a fast Gemara. Let's do it because tomorrow I have my nephew's wedding, so I might be able to do a blot in the head. I don't know, whatever. So let's go. Shava Rabbi Masha Omerloi. Right? If the master forgot what he told him, so we say you got to burn both korbanos, right? You burn both korbanos, and they don't have to bring a Pesach Sheni. So this is only, we had this type of Gemara many times. This is only talking about where they forgot about it after the blood was already thrown on the Mizbeach. The Izrak Dam have a chazi la'achila, because when the Zrika was there, it was chazi la'achila. Have a shokach lefnei Zrika, but if he forgot before the Zrika, Techi Izrik Dam lo have a chazi la'achila, that when they did the Zrika of the blood, it wasn't roi la'achila, then chayav and lasses Pesach Sheni, then they chayav to make a Pesach Sheni. Right? So it's totally when he forgot which animal he asked for. So Ika the Masli la Braisa, that those that learn on the Braisa, Chamisha shenesavu oiris peschayin zevazeh. So, but they gave the skins of the animals back to the owners. So five different owners of animals, their skins got mixed up. And they found a wart, right? A yabel is a wart, a mum, and that means one of these five guys' korban pesach was no good. Kulan yotzin lebeis hasreifa. Then you got to take all the korbanos out to be burned. And the potter from doing from making Pesach Sheni. And Abaye said, that's only when they got mixed up after the blood was already thrown on them. Right? When he throws it, it was right to eat. But if it got mixed up before the Zrika, then they do have to make a Pesach Sheni, because the Zrika was not even good. So Manda Masni Amasnisin Kol Sheken Abraisa. Whoever learns this, that it's before Zrika on the Mishna Kol Sheken Abraisa. Manda Masni Abraisa, the one who learns on the Braisa, Avla Masnisin Loi, he doesn't learn it. Keeping the Ksherin Ninhu, since they're kosher, the Itkar Havi Chazi Lachila, because in the Mishnah, let's say all of a sudden he would remember which one it was that he wanted. Kamei Shemaya Galia, therefore it would be revealed in front of Shemayim which one was the legitimate korban pesach. So therefore, that might be okay, even if it's before the Zrika. Okay, so then the obvious question now the Gemara says, Omar Mara Patunami lost his Pesach Sheni, and they're potter from doing Pesach Sheni. One of them is not Yaitza, right? Again, what was the case? 5 guys, their korbanos got put together, or the skins got put together. So how can, and we say all 5 don't have to do the Pesach Sheni. What do you mean? One of them was not Yaitza, because one of their korbanos had a Yabelis on it. It had a war on it, and it's not kosher. So Gemara answers, Mashum Deloy Efshar, because it's not possible to do it any other way, right? Yeah. So Memela, since it's not possible, so then they don't have to do the Pesach Sheni. Because how should they do it? Lacy call chad v'chad Pesach. Let's say each one of them brings a korban Pesach on Pesach Sheni. Kamaisi chulin lazara. You're going to be bringing chulin lazara, which is Gershon, is what you were asking, right? Well, you were asking about Rishon, but this is Sheni. Ta'arba minayu avdilahu, because 4 of them, their korban was fine, right? Again, there were 5 people's korbanos. 4 were kosher. 1 was not treif. 1 was not a kosher korban Pesach. And they got all mixed up together. So 4 are fine. So how can you make all 5 of them bring a Pesach Sheni? Lacy kulu chad Pesach. Let them all make a chabura and bring 1 korban Pesach. Nimtza Pesach nechal shalei l'menuyo. Then Pesach is going to be for the people that were not counted on it, because people that are already yotza can't be part of it. It's fine. So that we're saying it's impossible for them to be the Pesach Sheni. So therefore it's done. So Gemara says, "Hi, my. How can there be no way to do it? Why can't they each one bring their own korban pesach and make a tnai and say, if mine is the balmum, hi the icy hashta and they have a pesach. So what I'm bringing now is a korban pesach. The tam, and if mine was the tam and not, there was no problem with it. Ha the icy hashta and they have a shlamim. What I'm bringing is a korban shlamim. Right? Why can you make that tonight? It's either a korban pesach or a korban shlamim. So he said, loy efsha. No, you can't do that. Why? I'm on Talmud Aleph. Meshum the ika chaz of a shoik the kahanim hu da'achdilay, because you have the chaz of a shoik of a shlamim that goes to the kahanim. So then, and he's going to eat it. So then that's going to be a problem if it's not a korban pesach. So he says, okay, v'nesi kol chad v'chad kohen ba'adei. So find a kohen partner that needed to be a pesach sheni and let him eat the chaz of a shoik. Right? So hi kohen hechidami. What would be the case David Pesach, if he already did a korban Pesach, Dilma High Pesachi, maybe this is a legitimate korban Pesach, and it's a Pesach Nechashalei. It's the Pesach is eaten for somebody who is not part of it. Pesach, and if the Kohen didn't do his own Pesach, Dilma Shlamim who, maybe this is a Shlamim V'Lo Pesach, and this Kohen is not going to be Yotz's korban Pesach for Pesach Sheni. Fine. So, okay, so that option's out. V'nesi kol chamisha chad Kohen D'Lo Pesach. Let each 5 guys bring one kohen who didn't do the korban pesach, and put him onto all 5 pesachim. The mamanav shach. There's going to be one guy who didn't make a korban pesach, the konafki bay, and he's going to be yaitza with him. So then where it says a different shot. No, because if you're going to bring it with a tnai, with achila shlamim, then you're being mamayat. Ilu pesach liyam v'layla. As we know, pesach is eaten for a day and a night. The ilu shlamim l'shnei yam v'laylecha. The shlamim is 2 days and 1 night, and you're going to be making that less. If this korban is a shlamim, because he didn't have to bring the korban, then you're shortening the amount of time it could be eaten. Fine. So then it says v'nesi meiser ha-pesach v'neima, and let him bring it meiser ha-pesach. Which Meiser Pesach is if somebody lost his korban Pesach, so then you bring another korban Pesach with a tnai. That if my korban Pesach is found, then this is an extra korban Pesach, etc., etc. So the Gemara answers, and no, then say like this: Ed balmum. If mine was the balmum, hada I see hashton heavy Pesach. What I'm bringing now is a korban Pesach. Ed tam. If mine was a tam, hu nihavi. Ed tam hu, and if mine was a tam, was the tam. Meaning that the one without the mum, nehevi hide the icy hashta shlamim. Let this be a shlamim. The Meiser Pesach nechal yom v'layla echad, because Meiser Pesach gets eaten for 1 day and for 1 night, right? Even though it's a shlamim, but it's only 1 day, 1 night, because it stakes on the status of a Pesach, because it's there as a backup, right? So the Gemara says, "V'chim afrishin tchilin l'meisers." Can you do it mitchilin? Meisers is only. You can only have a korban pesach that's a meiser, if not a meiser, the meiser, meaning the extra korban pesach, if you had a problem with your korban pesach. You can't do a lechatchila. So it says, "V'nitzchu v'nesi meiser pesach." Let them try and find the korban pesach. Meaning, let them try and find somebody who taka needs to be an extra korban pesach. Elam b'shem smicha. So now we're totally different. The reason why is because of smicha. Dilu pesach loy boi smicha. A pesach doesn't need smicha, meaning to lean on the animal before you bring it. The ilu meiser by smicha, but meiser doesn't need smicha because it's possibly a shlamim. So korban noshim, fine. So maybe that's men's korbanos, but women's korbanos don't need smicha. So then, okay, so it can't be because of smicha. Elamashim matanas, right? It's because of the matanas, meaning to put the blood onto the mizbeach. Ilu pesach matana achas, the korban pesach just gets 1 placing of blood. Bilu shlamim shtayin shein dalid, and the shlamim gets put on 2 corners, which is really the equivalent of 4 corners. So you're not going to have the right amount of blood placed if you're going to make a korban with a tnai, that either it's a shlamim or a pesach. So when it says my nafkamina, what's the difference? Tanan kol naitan al mizbeach achitza and shedin v'matan achas kaper. If you anytime you have to sprinkle things on the mizbeach, even if it needs many times, but 1 time is enough. Elamashum the ilu pesach b'shvicha. No, the pesach you pour the blood onto the mizbeach. Ilu shlamim b'zrika, and the shlamim you throw it. So what it says, "My nafkamina v'tanya kol nitna b'zrika shenitna b'shvicha yotza." Anything that has to be thrown onto the mizbeach and you poured it on, you are yotza. So here too, you would be yotza b'manavshach. Aima the amrinon. When did we say that this could be the aved? That's we only said the eved. That if you by mistake poured it instead of throwing it, then it works. Lechatchila nami. Can you go lechatchila tell a guy to bring a korban? Of course you can. So memela, since you can't, then memela there's no other eitzah. So that's why these guys are potter from Pesach Sheni, even though theoretically one of them is going to end up not being yaitza, but because there's mamish no other options. Okay, I'm sorry for going a little long, but yeah, okay.
But Yaakov,
yes.
Why isn't this considered kidiyeved? Meaning they're in a situation where they can't. There's no other way they could bring a korban pesach, so consider it's like a b'diavad. There's no other way they could bring korban pesach.
Yeah.
So make this like a b'diavad.
You mean kol shas atcha k'diavad dummy?
Yeah.
He's asking on the shach in Taruvis.
That what? Which shach?
Machlokes shach and taz. What's called b'diavad? What's called lechatchila?
Yeah, but I'm saying, well, what? I mean,
The taz holds that b'diavad is only after you did it, whatever it is.
oh, you're talking
This
about
is
that?
the
Okay, yeah,
taz.
right.
This is the taz, only after you did it. The lechatchila. As long as you haven't done it yet, still lechatchila. The shach holds that as long as you're out of choice, it's b'diavad.
Right, but so here you're out of choices.
That's what he's asking. This is b'diavad, not
All right, no,
lechatchila.
I'm saying it's what he's saying.
It's a kasha on the shach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I
Does
ask
Taisus Hanimili Diavad help for this?
I don't know. It seems like he's asking a different question, or he's giving it. I'm not sure. The tema v'chi b'shvil the shema yiyah nicer. I'm not sure.
Oh no, he's really asking for all these things that you have to do. You're gonna push off a chi of karis because of all these efshers. It's possible, right?
Oh wow. He says Taka, yeah, only b'shev al taisa.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting touch.
Can I ask what's probably a stupid question?
Go ahead.
Why isn't this case batul b'roiv?
What?
Midiraisa, why isn't this batul b'roiv? You have yavish b'yavish. One is a balmum, 4 are not. You have roiv that are kosher. We don't know which one's which. You have a taruvis iser, which is batul b'roiv.
Yes. Somebody asked that. Somebody asked that kasha. What's that? What do you want to say?
Let them all eat it. It's all mutter.
That's shalom minuv. How could one of them eat it? His carbon taka is
No, they each
Oh.
know which carbon is theirs. We don't know which one the balmum is. We don't know which one the iser is. They know which carbon their carbon is. We're answering them all now.
Right.
They should all be mutter. There's bittul beroy.
Is it Ruba de Lesikaman? How do we look at this?
I don't know. I'm sorry. It's 10:10 at night, man. I cannot. I don't have the head. You guys have the head for this, man. There's no way. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to remember who asked the kasha. I mean, can you make it that somebody's yaitza a carbon based on a bittul?
Why not?
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Isn't this bittul chatchila?
No.
I'm saying, what do you want to
it
say?
is
That this guy's
batul. It's
yaitza?
not- We're not being mevatel anything. It's batul memela.
What's being batul right now?
The mum, the bal mum is being batul in 4 kosher.
What does that mean to be mevatel somebody?
You're not
You
being
mevatel his
mevatel it.
din?
It is batul.
What is batul?
The bal mum. There is no bal mum here.
Did you get the bread?
I hear.
I don't know.
Maybe it's telling in that shiloh of whether bittul is mahapich.
Didn't get. My wife didn't have.
Huh.
I tried. I was gonna go. I tried.
Everyone holds it is lamaisa.
That you're able to eat all 3 pieces of meat. No.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, with the rice, of course you can. With the rabbanon, according to some rishonim, there's a gzeret rabbanon to throw it out. With the rice, all 3 are mutter. All 5 in this case should be mutter.
I don't know. All right, my chavrus is here, so all right.
All right, Tashikayach.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, shkoyach to you guys. Good enough. If you
It
find any answers,
didn't
let me
answer
know.
the
Yeah.
kasha, by the way.
Which kasha? It didn't. It what?
My
Your
kasha at the beginning.
Yeah, I thought maybe you would answer it, but you're right. It doesn't answer it.
It asks it. It doesn't answer it. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. All right. Good
Bye.
enough.
Good night.